lad. Well, today's guest may not be the biggest name that I've had on the podcast to date, but he sure has one of the craziest stories. The talented 2 metres 06 lock had a 12-year rugby career playing NPC with Canterbury and Southland, as well as in Clermont with France and Hino in Japan. And it was his time in Japan where his career and life was turned upside down after spending 23 days in a Japanese prison. Since that moment, he has spent time helping other players avoid making some of the same mistakes because he is an absolute lad. It is, of course, the great Joel Everson. Welcome, mate.
G'day, mate. Hell of an intro.
Mate, thanks for coming on. So many guys have told me, shit, you need to get Joel on. He's got one of the craziest stories you'll hear, so I'm glad we could finally do this.
Yeah, mate. Happy to be here.
Mate, and what are you up to now? Like, talk to me around, you've obviously gone through your transition from playing into the normal life, which is obviously a struggle for so many. Through this podcast, you hear the stories every time, but what are you up to? How have you found it?
Yeah, probably at the start pretty tricky because, rugby's such in your DNA growing up as a kid, and, you go through what you go through, and then, you're always talking about what are you going to do after rugby, and you're like, oh, could do this, could do that, but you have to push buttons when it comes to it, and you have ideas, but in reality it's hard to find that one thing. So for me now, I'm doing Bailey's real estate, so commercial leasing and business sales, which is completely different, using my head a bit differently there.
Yeah. Did you ever think you'd be doing that while you're playing? Was that ever one of the ideas you sort of had in the back of your mind?
Not at all. I did some studies like business diploma and things like that.
Oh yeah.
Going through with rugby, but it was never something that it just clicked at the time, and I was like, I want to do that. So doing that, what is it, a year and a half now?
Oh wow.
Which is good. Keeps you busy.
Yeah. How have you found it?
It's been good. It's obviously there's good and bad. It's tricky times with the market, and sort of businesses that I sell can be tricky through due diligence and things like that. So it's rewarding too. It's these good things to it, and being able to be a bit flexible with having the kids and stuff. So it's been working out well. Yeah,
well, nice. And you've done a few other things too. You've been driving around in Ubers, you've been speaking to other teams about your life experiences and inspiring others, the next generation. You've had a few gigs going on.
Yeah, totally, mate. I don't know, I came to like, what do I actually want to do, and ended up being an Uber driver. And
how was that?
Oh, I actually loved it. It got to a point where I didn't, but it picked up all sorts of characters, picked up Corey Flynn one time. Oh, so funny. Didn't realise, and then I just looked at him for ages. He was on his phone. It's like, you all right, mate? And then he jumped in the front, and we just had a good chin wag. But just meet all sorts of people from past and doing that.
Yeah.
Had some cracker yarns.
Yeah.
Still a podcast doing that, mate.
Yeah, mate, you could. Uber driving with the mics on.
Yeah. Did a bit of support work as well. Did that for about 6 months.
Yeah.
That was pretty intense. Had a few.
What sort of support work was that?
It was like a house with 24/7 care.
Oh, yeah.
So night shift, day shift sort of work. Just unfortunate kids growing up, in bad conditions, and they just had that sort of those mental problems, and sort of my role there was just to sort of support them and help them go to gym and things like that. But it was they were interesting characters, they just they would get quite physical at times, and you sort of try to calm them down. But that was pretty cool learning, to see another side of society that you don't really get to see that much.
Yeah. So how long have you been retired? Feels like you've done a lot, eh? And like, not that, 3 years, 4 years?
I was playing with Bulla last year, but I guess the Southland Stags was my last sort of gig. When was that? Must have been 21, 22?
Yeah, okay.
21, 22?
Yeah, about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
True, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Man, you've crammed in a lot in that short period to try different things and see what works. And
yeah.
What have you missed about the game the most?
Probably exercising, to be fair.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, I would say, being able to do that every day, all day, and although, like, you're a bit tired and stuff like that, it's pretty cool to be able to, train, for your job and feel the benefits of that after,
Yeah.
Probably that, and gosh, what is it? It's just probably the glory times of, getting wins and playing good and that. So, that sort of banter with your mates.
Yeah.
Pretty hard to replace that.
Oh, it is. I can definitely relate to the exercise bit too, man. I found that one of the hardest things to try and get into my schedule when it's not planted in or you're not forced to do it. It's the first thing for me that I'm thinking to just leave to the end of the day and then end up not doing it.
Yeah. Well, it's different intensity, right? It's still like, it's not the same when
you got no purpose behind it. It's just to like lose my belly ache, my big rolly belly. But yeah,
it comes.
What was your playing weight?
Varied. I would say the best would probably be the 118 sort of mark.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but it varied up to 128 sort of thing.
Oh yeah. What would you be now?
Take a guess, mate.
118.
Yeah, probably.
Playing weight.
No, my bones just got heavier.
More milk.
Yeah, densed up.
Yeah, okay. Well, one thing I am keen to do, as I always are on this, is go through your journey from the start and hear what life was like for you growing up and how we got the person who's on the podcast today. So, like, where did you grow up?
Grew up in Auckland.
Oh, did you?
Yep. What? East Auckland, sort of Howick, Pakuranga sort of area.
Oh, yeah.
And then, went to 3 different high schools there.
True.
Yeah, went to Pakuranga, McLean's, and then ended up at St. Kentigern College.
Why was that?
Just for rugby.
Oh, yeah.
It was, went to Pakuranga because the sisters at the time went there and, just follow the lead.
How many siblings have you got?
2 older sisters.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. One 5 years older, another one, a couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I went there and then, was playing rugby there, but it wasn't a priority sort of for that school to do rugby. So had a chance to go to McLean's there in the 1A competition, I think, at the time.
Oh, yeah.
So it was just, it was a good move to go and try and crack it there. Made it there, but then we got demoted that year that I made it. So I was like, well, okay. So from there we just had the opportunity to talk to St. Kentigern College and see if they got some wallet money for me to come over. And
so scholarship took you there. Oh, true.
Yeah, for sure.
So you must have been a bit of a gun.
No, not really. To be fair, I was just probably tall and and they probably saw that there's potential there. So I was never really going through schools and stuff like that. It took me quite a long time to find my feet.
Were you always bigger?
Always bigger, but was pretty scrawny, to be fair.
Oh, yeah, tall and skinny.
I wouldn't say skinny, but just not I don't know, not as broad as other locks would have been.
Yeah, especially up there.
Yeah, totally, mate. I got ragdolled quite a few times by the big island boys over there. So, but I mean, it was good. It was good toughness, battling up with the big boys there. And, so did that for a couple of years and was in the Auckland sort of academy there.
Oh, yeah.
Which was a little bit disorganised at the time, You'd go there and the trainer wouldn't be there or the person leading it. And it was like, mate, come all the way from East Auckland here, mate.
Yeah.
Pick our traffic. But, I guess dad was, real helpful in that way of like, oh, let's have a look, see what Canterbury are up to, and if they're interested in taking me on board.
True.
So yeah, we contacted through the academy down here, Canterbury. Got to Matt Sexton, I think was the academy manager then, and he said come down for a trial, and flew down and had like a day of going through my paces and speed and skills, and it was enough to get a bit of a academy contract there. And
jeez, how good's that? I didn't even know they did that. You just requested an academy gig and nailed the testing day, and they saw enough in you to think that this guy's got a future.
Yeah. It was definitely something that I sought out. It wasn't something that was given, or asked upon. Yeah,
was rugby always your plan? Like, was you committed to this dream of being a professional rugby player?
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one. I was quite lost when I was about, 12, 13. I met a guy who was obsessed with rugby. He was my best friend, and I didn't have that many friends at the time. I was a bit of a loner, and then I met with him, and I just was, the whole friendship thing like grew, and I just sort of I don't know. I picked up what he was passionate about, and became my own and got passionate about that. So
that's cool.
Before you know it, I was obsessed with rugby, and every Friday, Saturday, watching the Super Rugby or the NPC and All Blacks, and just became very like that was something I wanted to do, and nothing else mattered really.
Yeah. Who was your friend?
A guy called Richard Ludlow.
Oh yeah. He didn't end up making professionally?
No. He, when I moved from Pickering into Maclean's, he actually sort of moved in a different direction.
Oh, yeah.
But he gave me enough enjoyment, inspiration and enjoyment. He was a first five, and he wanted to practice his kicks, and I just loved being out there and kicking the ball back, and just being out there and doing it.
Oh, that's cool. What were you like at school? Were you good at school? Were you a good learner?
Terrible learner.
Yeah.
Even now, like in class situations, or when you have to listen, I just get distracted. Way better one-on-one.
Yeah.
But no, I wasn't too great at school. Didn't really apply myself, or just didn't find the engagement, to be fair.
Yeah, so once you had this idea of rugby in your head, that's where you put all your focus and attention.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it was the only thing I was probably passionate about at the when I was a young kid. So I think parents were divorcing around that time as well, and it was a way for me to escape from that situation, and be find that enjoyment about something else.
Yeah, how hard was that for you? The parent divorce, like it's pretty frequent, but something we probably don't talk about that often on here is how hard that can be for especially guys in that age.
Yeah, no, it was actually it was really a tricky time. It's taken me to my adult years to sort of process a bit of that, and it's something like where you go through, and you don't think too much of it, but as you get older, you're like, oh, that was actually pretty fucked up. But out of anything, being a parent myself now, it's guided me to be a bit more vigilant to my kids, and know how that that can feel for them, and be a bit more sensitive to that.
Yeah. So did you move it with your dad, or how did that work?
Bit of both, but I moved with Dad through high schools and stuff like that. He was a bit of an advocate with me with rugby, and a big supporter there. And I think when I was 13, I was way behind in school, and and I was going down a path that was hanging out with the riff-raff, and, my life could have gone very differently.
How close did you get to that?
Pretty close. Yeah. No, I was selling smokes at school and drinking and things like that at a very, early age.
What age are we talking?
Probably 11 and 12.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Okay.
Stole a bottle of Hennessy from my dad's cabinet, and just, that was my first introduction to alcohol. And I think, as an adult now, I think it's just, something you got to be careful of. It's something that happened quite early on with me.
Yeah. How'd you get out of it?
Out of
that cycle, like, how'd you get out of your cigarette business? And
it's just funny how it worked out. I really I met that guy Richard at that third form, and he gave me that rugby inspiration. At the same time, I was doing this and that.
Oh yeah.
And then I moved school, and that got me away from the riff-raff, I guess.
Yeah, far out.
And then I went, to a different type of environment, which, we're pretty thankful for, because, who knows where I would be right now.
Mate, that's so good. That's a genuine cool yarn around how rugby can save, like, a lot of these guys at school. I used to see it at colleges when I used to go looking at college. There's guys right on the brink who it's going to go one or two ways here. They're either going to go down that path, or if they can stay focused on their rugby, they're going to be a lot better off than if they go down that other path they're thinking. And it's a real good example of your life and how it's actually worked. And
100%, it could have been very different for me.
Yeah, now, mate. And then you're down in, you come down to Canterbury, you get your academy contract. Then what's it like for you down here?
I was a lost lamb. I came down, moved into just next door in 12 Melbourne.
Yeah.
Moved in with the, with the rugby lads, Ash Parker and, quite a few, Quinton McDonald.
Yeah.
Which was, I was brought up with sisters, and, it's very different to be thrusted into like a very, testosterone-filled flat. I learned the hard way there, and that was awesome though. Like, brought up with sisters, but then I was, in my adolescence age, I was, getting brought up with brothers and, friends that, I'll be, with them for life, and that's pretty beautiful to have that, that connection with them through a tricky time,
Yeah.
We had some pretty funny times in that flat,
I bet.
It was awesome. We had, games nights and, Blindsman's Bluff.
Yeah.
Bloody is pretty full on. People up in the ceiling and also, I think, what was his name? Cade Pokey.
Oh yeah.
Cade Pokey. We were playing one time. It was around that Crusaders, still quite involved with that. And I think a few of them came around. We were playing that game. And we were playing it. It was just getting real, like, competitive and, like, edgy. Like, people were running everywhere. And I think he was trying to not get caught.
Yeah.
Then he was like sprinting around a small ton of like hallway, and he fell over and hit like that side heater you have.
Yeah.
And I think he broke or dislocated one of his fingers.
Oh shit.
Which put him out of rugby for a bit. So yeah.
He was so competitive at anything he'd do, any sort of game, Cade Pookie.
Yeah.
Oh, true. What else did you learn from the academy coming down? Like, obviously, it's pretty eye-opening for a lot of guys who have come down and they're like, far out, this is pretty intense. But how did you find it? What did you learn?
What I learned? I guess probably just learning the craft of the game and understanding that. Like, school rugby, and then you come into like an academy where you're talking about like watching the game and reading trends and all
different
detail and also like they had the academy, but they had a crossover with the NPC and Crusaders, and you see them in the gym, and like having rubbing shoulders every now and then with that was pretty, I was more of a fan of rugby than a player, I remember one of my first NBC games, and we played Wellington, and I just remember being out there, and it was, I think, Victor Vida.
Yeah.
It was like, I just remember just looking at him in the game. I couldn't even think about rugby. I'm like, mate, I'm just your fan here. Like,
Can I get an autograph?
Yeah, I didn't even want to. It threw me off my game because it's just like starstruck. It was like, going to Hollywood and seeing freaking Brad Pitt for me at the time. It's like it just took me ages to to get used to that. 'Cause, you don't realize watching TV and playing rugby, and then it can happen quite quickly.
Yeah, it does. All of a sudden you're out there and you're in it. You're tackling some of your heroes, or you're playing with some of your heroes.
Yeah,
that's so good.
Yeah, that's a funny story.
So, what stopped you from becoming a Crusader? Obviously, you were through the Crusaders Academy. You were in the fringe. I know you're training with them. And what do you feel like stopped you from becoming a Crusader?
Good question. I think I had a Crusader game against England, and that game for me was previously I was playing club rugby, and I was in that what do you call it, the sort of Crusaders wider squad.
Yeah.
I think my preparation for that game probably wasn't ideal. Like I didn't think I was going to be selected, and then all of a sudden I was starting, and I probably didn't make that opportunity as good as it could have been. For me, I was I put way too much pressure on myself, and I probably wasn't mentally right for that game. I remember going to that game, and because there was so much traffic to there. I was like, I was stuck in this traffic trying to get to the game, and I'm like, they're trying to go to watch the game. I'm like, mate, I actually need to. And I actually was to that game. I was driving on the wrong side of the road just to go through and make it. I was like, there's no way I'm missing this game. So, I think I was just, I had a decision. What was it? Like a weird thing in the game where, the crowd was saying it was offside. I think it was off a kickoff.
Yeah.
And, like everyone was saying, oh, they're offside. And, the ref wasn't calling it. And then, it threw me off my game. I didn't catch the ball and dropped it. And that was just, I was just in the red. I just couldn't see past it. But to answer your question, I think, I think just wasn't quite, enough to be at that level at the time.
Yeah.
I think I just, could do most of the core roles well, but, like you see like a Scott Barrett or, Luke Romano and things like that, they
had a fair bit of competition.
Yeah, they just, they took the game a lot more when they were on the field, and, and that's something that I sort of reflected on, past that sort of era, and it was a good sort of lesson for me growing up.
Yeah. So post that game, how hard was that for you to sort of get over that game, or then focus on the next?
Mate, still haven't forgotten it. No, I think I buried my head down and got into investing. I was like, all right, I need to get going with this.
Yeah.
And played, I think, 4 or 5 games for Canterbury, and then I did my ACL, my knee.
Oh, neglect.
So I was, starting to hit my strides with NPC at the time. I felt like, starting to get a bit more comfortable and a bit more, into it.
Yeah, not starstruck at every play.
And then the injury, just, ACL, that's like 6-7 months till you're playing again. So, I think at the, end of the year review with the coach, it was like, there's heaps of young players coming up, and, was saying you need to sort of work through club, and we'll see how it comes to,
true.
you know.
Yeah.
So it was put in that sort of light, and I was like, all right. I sort of just worked out what I wanted to do, and then I just got a phone call from, it was Brad Moore down south in the Stags at the time, and got the opportunity to go down there, and I thought, well, it'd be quite cool to just, learn, go down to another province and then see how that goes for me. And, Elliot Dixon at the time did that, and it went well for him. And just wanted to see a different environment and see how that went. And so it was a bit of a chalk and cheese environment, like just different ways of doing things. Which was like, some of it was really, really good, and some of it was like, not so good really. So I bloody enjoyed my time down there though. And about a year in, got my agent ringing me up and was like, hey, this team in Japan is keen to take you on and that. And I was like, yeah, I'll be pretty interested in doing that.
Yeah. So how old are you at this point?
What was I? Must have been 15. No, sorry, 25. Sorry, 2015 in my year.
Yeah. That's young. Jeez, you progress quick. 25. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I was 25.
So you'd done a decent stint here. You'd had a crack at 2 years at Southland, was it? Or 1 year?
I was, 1 year down there.
And then you get the cool opportunity to go to Japan. And
which is bloody exciting, I think. My partner, she was pregnant at the time, so it was just good timing with everything. And also had, Ash Parker that was, in Japan, was a close mate.
Yeah, he went over early too, didn't he?
He did, yeah. Yeah, so it was just like, good timing thing. And, spent 4 years in Japan.
Yeah.
Which was cool. I was looking to go a bit longer, but things changed.
How'd you find it going over there initially?
Very overwhelming.
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah, like, just the lights and I don't know, like the stores.
You're in Tokyo?
Yeah.
In the mixer?
Yeah.
Oh, true.
Yeah, pretty close to the city centre, but
it
was, bloody exciting to do something like that. Like, the language was a tricky thing, but can't even speak English properly. So.
Did you try and learn, or you mentioned
I did, but I don't know. Something to do with my wiring just doesn't pick it up.
Oh, mate, it's so hard. I found it hard too.
Yeah.
You mentioned it being big, like going from Southland to Tokyo was a pretty decent transition.
Yeah, it was massive. Yeah, but it was cool being in like a Japanese rugby team, and we had Japanese coaches, so things were done a certain way, and I think the first contract was for 2 years, so we made it to the promotion, Top East League competition or something like that. So it worked out really well. Like the team I went in got promoted, and they wanted to sign on for a few more years, which was quite cool.
How good! So then you're there for 4 years. Did you say?
Yeah, 4 years. Yeah. And then
the infamous night.
Talk
me through it. What happened? Like, I've heard different stories. I've heard different.
What stories are you? Right, I need a drink.
You deserve a drink for this one. But yeah, obviously it was a life-changing moment, and by all accounts, pretty scary. Like how it all went down.
Yeah, 100%. I'll give the whole story a bit of context.
Go from the start.
So I guess it was around March time or late February.
In your 4th year?
Yeah, in my 4th year. we started off having not so many foreigners, and you're only allowed to play a certain amount of foreigners on the field.
Yeah.
As we got promoted, we got more of a budget. We had more foreigners.
Yeah.
We ended up having, I don't know, must have been around 13 or something.
Oh,
foreigners.
shit, that many.
Yeah.
It's only allowed, what, 3 on the field or 4?
I think you were allowed 6 at the time.
Oh, yeah, 5 starting, 1 on the bench.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
right.
it. Yeah. So, yeah, I think 5 or 6 games went down, and I wasn't getting selected, and as my contract year, I needed to play, or else it's hard to get your next gig, and I was going for my passport at the time.
Oh, true.
Yeah, 5 years you needed, so being the 4th year, it was quite a stressful time. Like, I need to get this.
Yeah.
So well, I don't know. I was training as hard as I could to try and get in front, and it just wasn't happening until I eventually got put on the bench for the game, and was like stoked. It was against, I think it was against Kobe or something like that.
Yeah.
It was quite a good game to play, and then the old COVID started to come into play.
Oh, yeah.
And then the competition was postponed for some time, and my partner at the time with the kids, she was worried about being an MIQ with the kids for that couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So she was like, all right, I'm off, for that reason. And then, so, here I was in this like Japanese house with like all the kids' toys, and we were sort of told to just stay at home and, 2 or 3 days sort of thing. And I guess I didn't want to, reach out to anyone, the boys there. I just kind of wanted to, drink it away and stay at home, listen to music, and but that went on probably a bit too much.
Oh, it's a lonely time. I don't know anyone who's had to stay in Japan without their family has had a good experience. They all get very depressed and find it super tough. Like your family's back in New Zealand living a normal-ish life, and then you're stuck in your, I guess, an apartment by yourself with all the kids still. It's just thinking, what the hell am I doing?
Yeah, it was a bit like that. I didn't process it too well. Just was like, give me a bottle of red and see it off sort of thing. So.
Yeah. Would that be like an every night, every day thing? You'd be into it?
I guess it just increased a bit more with the situation. Like it was just, it wasn't, it was drinking to sort of escape from how I was feeling, it wasn't, I wasn't processing it, in a healthy way.
Yeah.
So spent a day of doing a bit of that, and then I just got to like, got the fuckets and said, all right, I'm going to head out and, just have an adventure, basically.
Oh, so this was still lockdown?
Not lockdown. It was more that it was just starting. It was early 2020, It wasn't like a lockdown, but it was just advising people to stay at home
if you can. Oh, yeah.
So, I just, went on an adventure. And,
by yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was, I was in a pretty heavy state, and then, I guess I went to a nightclub and then found probably a dodgy looking character, one of those Nigerians that stand around in Roppongi there. So just had a chat with him, and passed through, bag cocaine, and I had my way with that, and but I don't know, about 4:30 in the morning, I come out of that nightclub and just stopped by like 10 Japanese policemen, like in a semicircle around me, and I was like, oh.
Did you know straight away you're in trouble, or what were you thinking?
In my head, I was quite confident because like I didn't have anything on me, or like it was all like inside, I guess. Like in my head, I'm like, well, what can they do?
What have you done? Yeah.
You know, like there's nothing, I'm not carrying anything or any, you know, like it wasn't.
Far out. That's crazy.
Yeah, so we had like a couple
So
of
why did they surround you? Do you know?
Fast forwarding it, you know, when I was talking to the Japanese detective, I was like, hey, so was it like, did you get a phone call saying, you know, there's a foreigner in there that's, you know, doing this and that, and that alarm you to do that? And he was saying like, nah, they, they just do a perimeter check around that time. And it's just timing of me coming out and them coming through was that. But
And what, you were just all over the show?
no, I wasn't.
Nah.
No, I was
walking
I was
normally.
straight. Yeah,
Straight as
yeah.
shit.
I was. I mean, obviously, you know, but I was.
Right.
Man, like, yeah, I wasn't acting like weird or you know. Yeah, I was chill. I was like, I'm ready for home. Let's go home, sort of thing.
Yeah. Wow, that is crazy.
Yeah.
So then you get surrounded by 10 police, and what do?
Just very questionable, like, you know, looking for my wallet, looking for my pockets, and, you know, 2 hours of me saying, look, just want to go home. And
yeah, and you obviously can't speak.
I can speak a little.
Oh, you can speak enough.
Yeah, I mean, they can speak a little English and I can speak a little Japanese, and we just sort of make it blend. And
this hybrid language.
Yeah, hybrid sort of, you know. So, yeah, I mean, a couple hours of me, you know, like, I just want to go home, and this guy comes, you know, in a cop car, like, pulls up to us and then comes out with a piece of paper, and he's like strolls over to me. I'm like, oh my gosh, what's he doing now? And he's like, I've got a, you know, a warrant for urine test.
Shit.
Yeah, and I was like, oh shit, it might be good, it might be bad here. So, yeah, hop in a cop car, and I don't know, like, Japanese cop cars are real loud, and they have like
a megaphone.
They have a megaphone that they're like yelling out, like, you know, in Japanese, and like it was very intense. Like I was like, oh my gosh,
yeah,
my heart sunk, and you know, I was like, this is very bad. So we got to the hospital, and you know, like for me, like a urine test was like, sweet, I just go pee in a cup and you know, pass it on. There's my urine sort of thing. That's how I thought it was going to go. So like, yeah, in the police car, I was like on Google, like how to flush like cocaine system. It's frantically like trying to cover, like, mate, this is bad. This is real bad. It said, oh, you need to like, you know, smash through as much water as you can.
Yeah.
So I was like going to like the machines and stuff like that. I think I got like 10 waters. I was just smashing them
Last
back.
Ditch effort.
Yeah. Last ditch. They're all watching me like, what is this foreigner up to?
He's thirsty.
It was bad. But yeah, so eventually the doctor person who was going to do the test on me, he actually come in, and you know the 10 policemen were still around me, like it was still like heavy presence of police.
Yeah,
I feel like an actual criminal right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, they sort of all had their hands on me and said, you know, lie down, and then they just pull my pants down, like underwear and everything. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
And they got like a guy in the background taking like flash cameras, like photos, you know, of the whole thing. Like it's all very overwhelming.
What the hell?
Yeah, very, very intense. And then the doctor guy, who's being like nice and all that, but he's like, hey, I've got this tube. He's got this tube that he's gonna, you know, chuck down my pee hole. I'm like, holy heck, like this has turned up real. Like,
what the?
Yeah, so he lubes up this tube and then, you know, puts it down pee hole, pushes on my bladder, and, you know, liquid was coming out.
It seems so unnecessary.
It was very, very full on. Yeah, I didn't expect it at all.
Are you still buzzing at this point from anything?
Yeah, well, I mean,
sobered up real quick.
Yeah, well, that, yeah, but I was just like, this is bad, you know, like this can only go bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Why couldn't you just pee in a cup?
No, I don't know. It's just the way they do it. I don't know.
Far out.
Yeah, it was, wasn't great, but, yeah, and then they, take the tube out and they're like, pull your pants up. I'm like, just remember, like, you guys pulled it down. Why don't you pull it up? I just sat there for ages with a wiener. It's just got really awkward, but I was just annoyed that they just, pulled it down and then they're just, done with me, like, all right, pull your pants up.
Yeah.
Anyway.
What's the next step?
Yeah, so that happened, and then it was positive, obviously, for cocaine, and what happened there?
Is there levels of the amounts? Like, was it a huge amount, or like, what are we talking like?
It was just more, what do you call it? Like those dipping things?
Either positive or negative.
Yeah, it wasn't like quantity or anything.
All right.
Yeah.
It seems so excessive. It seems like enough punishment you've been through already, but now you're off to bloody prison.
Yeah, well, no, they said we can drop you to your house for half an hour to collect your belongings, sort of thing.
Oh yeah, what belongings were you allowed?
Just basically some clothes for when you're in there, because I was like, I don't know what, I just said.
What were you thinking? Like, how long, or were you thinking you were gonna go to jail or not?
I think I was going to be put in a holding cell, but
yeah.
I don't know. The funny thing is, Stephen Yates was actually 6 months before me. He had his ordeal over there.
Yeah.
And I remember meeting him. It was around the World Cup time and talking to him about it. I'm like, man, that's crazy.
Before or after?
Before I went in.
I remember
actually having a conversation with him, like, mate, that's crazy. And like, in my head thinking like, fuck, that's like, why would you sort of do that? And then like, that's the silliest things that I even knew how bad it was.
Yeah.
And
was that the first time, honestly, that you'd had cocaine?
Yeah, 100%.
Was that?
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Shit.
It was just, a very rude introduction to it.
Yeah. Wow. So then you've pulled your pants back up, gone home to get some clothes.
Yeah. Yeah. I had, what was it, like the agent's manager, that sort of helps the foreigners over there. She was sort of scrambling herself, and like the lawyer will meet you,
Miwa.
What's her name? Nana. Nana, yeah. And Ash was there as well. He heard, and then, speaking to the wife on the phone, she's like, what have you done?
Yeah. Did anybody know that you were battling? Like, did your wife or did the boys, would they have known that you were battling? And
I don't think so. Yeah. I think I was just, I didn't want to, burden anyone, just wanted to be like, oh, fuck, my shit.
Yeah.
But like, I never set out to, get arrested or anything. It's just how it went. So I just wanted to deal with my own way, and that wasn't a great way of doing it. But so that's that. So I had about half an hour to get my belongings, and then back in the cop car I go, and then get to the police station or with the holding cell. Book me in and do the mug shots and the fingerprints, and it was all becoming really real. And then they give me, because their attire in the jail is just all grey and like sweatpants and stuff. And like all of the clothes are way too
I can imagine all these small little Japanese guys.
So like all my clothes, like I felt like I had like a boob tube on. Like but before I could put the clothes on, they did the whole like, check your mouth, like turn around, bend over, open your bum cheeks out.
This is unbelievable. Honestly.
Oh, mate, it was yeah.
You must have just felt like, what if, like, I know you're not like cocaine, but it's like you've murdered 10 people,
Yeah,
Like,
it did have a level of that. Yeah.
Far out.
I should have known better, but yeah, so get in my little boob tube, sweatpants and that, and you sort of walk. There's about 6 cells. My one was like the far end.
Yeah.
And it was just like you see on like movies, like all the inmates or all the, I don't know, people there like come to the end to see who the fresh meat is.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was quite like intimidating for someone like never been in trouble like that before. So, I hopped in and there's 3 other inmates in there. And,
in your room?
Yeah.
Shit.
So.
Nice?
Yeah, they ended up being
Japanese?
All Japanese. It was like 3 meters by 5 meters in terms of size, and there's a toilet that has like windows, all like what do you call it, like plastic windows.
Oh yeah,
where you can sort of see what's going on, and then like it's just like an open jail cell, like, but there's like a walkway around.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, I was pretty distraught getting in, and like the worst come down, like I was having some pretty heavy thoughts, and just the deep bloody sadness, like, because I know what this means, it's been pretty big hit to the career, pretty big hit to my reputation.
Yeah,
not an easy feeling to feel. And you got to think, like, at this time as well, I had no sleep for like 2 days, because of just dealing with what's going on. So it was just
can't anything worse for the headspace with no sleep and going into the situation with what you've been through. You're already struggling, and then put through that.
They did a lot of like interrogation as well at the same time. So it was like, they're asking all these questions, and I'm like, my life's just turned upside down. You want to talk about it? So, but I put myself there. So, but so I had a night's sleep. We sleep on this little tatami mattress
on the floor.
Yeah, on the floor, like a real hard floor.
Yeah,
and they give you like that. No, it's a futon mattress. That's what it is. Like this real, and I've got big hips, so like I'm like, mate, it's not gonna
cut it.
And so they got rice pillows, and you have your own little corner each, and everyone has quite territorial about it.
Did you feel safe in that room with the other guys, or did you feel like someone could potentially do all sorts to you?
No, I felt pretty safe. I mean, like, they're, pretty small in size, like, I feel like came down to
they were shitting themselves.
Yeah, I think it was all right. I was like, mate, it's all good.
Yeah.
And so the first night was like with an eye opener. You've got to have all your clothes on. Like, you can't take your clothes off, like, your shirt off or anything.
That boob tube's still that great. You got to stay on that forever.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's the way it was. And the lights, like those, I don't know, it's kind of like, like those dental lights you go in, where they're all like bright, and they're like kept on 24/7. So
really?
Lights on throughout the whole night. You weren't allowed to like cover your eyes, your face.
Oh, shit.
So there's like, I think I worked it out, it was like every hour a guard would walk around, but like in the squeakiest shoes you could ever find. So it's like, squeak. It's just, and then, you get up, 3 times a day they have like a roll call at like 6, 12, and must be 6 as well.
Yeah.
Where you sort of have to yell out your number, and
Shit.
yeah, it's like a roll call sort of thing.
Yeah.
And you have to clean up, every day, and 3 meals a day.
Decent food?
No,
Terrible.
no, yeah. It was like, what was it? Like a fish, like ham.
Oh,
I don't know.
yeah.
It was food. Grateful. Yeah.
Were there any psychos in there, or did you hear shit going on at night or through the day where you're like, fuck?
A few times, but not really. Most of the guys in there were pretty tame, like real minor offences. Like one, I think, was a Canadian guy that I was, lucky to talk to when I was trying to get a book and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he was just an overstayer. He was just...
Oh, really?
His visa expired. And he was just at his apartment, and the police just rocked up and said, "You're an overstay, you're in jail," sort of thing.
Shit.
And it's, like real minor offences. There's some other ones that were like pretty bad.
Yeah. A real mix, eh? Like everyone's in the same.
Yeah.
Everyone's getting the same treatment.
In my cell, there was a guy that was a fake doctor.
Oh, yeah.
So he was a pharmacist, and then just said I'm a doctor, and it was that. And another guy did, like internet sort of gambling.
Oh, yeah.
Like had cafes set up.
And you're not allowed to gamble there.
Yeah.
Oh, true. Far out. Real mixed bag.
Another guy was like Yakuza, like he did like embezzlement with older people, like saying, "I'm your grandson, I need money," sort of thing.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, was there many other Yakuza in there?
Yeah, there's a few.
Yeah.
But they I found them quite pleasant, like they were quite nice. And,
oh, yeah.
They're actually helping me in my situation.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is, I felt, because I had a lawyer there, and he was giving me advice, but like the inmates, the Yakuza guys were actually helping me more.
Right.
I felt like I was more supported, like, no, just, this and that. And, I felt a bit more like,
That's cool.
They've got my back sort of thing.
Shout out to the Yakuza.
Yeah. Yeah, they looked after me somewhat.
Man, so you were in there, you've obviously gone through the nights, and 23 nights, was it, in the end?
Yeah, 23 nights.
What point were you like, am I ever getting out of here? Or was there always did you know the time frame?
No, it was very vague. I wasn't getting clear answers. It was quite, the lawyer I had spoke real shoddy English as well, and wasn't really giving me much of an indication of what was going on in the background. I was really lucky that a few of the boys came and visited me, and in particular, like, Ash, he came 5 times.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's cool.
You're only allowed 20 minutes at a time. He travelled, a couple of hours each time there and back.
Yeah.
Just to come and support, which was like massive. And, I can't speak any more of how helpful that was for me, having that support. And I think probably the first 10 or 15 days, it was just like, tears in my eyes, like not like crying, but just like, man, I got myself into something here.
Yeah.
And, just working out what's best way forward, what am I going to do with this?
Yeah.
And then just something that sort of clicked inside with me, and just, I was like, look, I'm in this situation that's make this negative situation a positive one, and it changed my whole, perspective of that. It's still hard.
How'd you do that?
Just made people around me people that I want to be around.
Yeah.
Well, not make them, but like, for instance, like just getting alongside my cellmates, and I'd have like a training plan for them. Like each day we would do like different exercises, and like I taught them how to pummel, and I was going real hard on them, and getting my aggression out. And like, but it's just good fun. Like they loved, that,
Yeah.
just,
that's cool.
Yeah. And then, even with the guards, because you go out for half an hour to have these like electric shaver things that you're allowed to do. So, it was doing, getting the guards into doing like dips and things like that and doing it with me, and just making connections around me to make it feel a bit more homely, a bit more, that it's not just you're by yourself sort of thing.
It's so cool. What was the switch? How did the switch happen for you to change that mindset, to go from this guy who's obviously battling to then see it as a positive and then make that change to go on and have a bit of fun with your situation, I guess?
Yeah, well, massive motivation was my kids, eventually they're going to get old and they're going to see how, how'd you get back on the horse? And what is going to be my, legacy? How am I going to be remembered here,
Cool. Could you speak to them?
No, not at all. So, that was big motivation, as a parent, you got to lead, how you want to lead. And it's, that was a big thing for me, is like, all right, you got to, pick yourself up here and, see your way forward. And, that's what I teach them, it's not how you get hit, or, it's how you recover. And, so it was that. And I've got, really supportive sisters and a mum that, I could even hear them talking in my head. It's funny, like when you don't have your phone, you don't have your day-to-day, your head starts telling you stuff. And
head noise,
head noise. And in some way it was quite a good experience for me, because you got to listen to that's actually going on in your head. So I felt quite supported, even though I was alone, in that time. So I ended up doing a bit of writing and made some poems in there, and just got a bit quirky like that. And that was a good out for me. I had a bit of a structure, even though like it was in a jail and you couldn't do much, but just had like an agenda for the day of like sort of fake it till you make it stuff, like I'm gonna do this and then I'm gonna do that. And that helped guide me get through the days, really.
And you ended up publishing those books, didn't you? Like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
In jail, writing children's books and then taking that into action and then printing them. That's so cool.
Yeah, it was. I got another one to publish and things like that. But it was it's very random, but pretty cool to like it's like a snapshot of something I went through that I can be like something good come from it.
Yeah. Far out.
Yeah.
Craziest story ever. How do you get out?
Yeah, so
how does it end?
Yeah. Eventually we got bond to get out. What do you call it? Get out on bond?
Yeah.
Is that what you call it?
Yeah.
And so the guard came and said, Joel, you're released after 23 days. And it was just like massive, relief or like excitement as well at the same time, It's like, oh. I was even like jumping around with the cellmates, like
pummeling.
No, it's just a bit of hype, like high fives all around, and start to get my stuff. And
do you keep in touch with those guys?
I don't.
No.
I gave them my email address, but it's
they're still in there.
Yeah, well, maybe that's the point. But yeah, I guess in that time, like, COVID wasn't that big before I went in.
Yeah.
But when I came out, it was like, holy heck, the whole world's,
locked down. You're back to jail again.
Yeah, it was a bit like that. I was looking at the Japanese newspaper and like, seeing what was going on through that, but I had no idea until I got out. So when I got out, it was just, spoke to the wife straight away, and tears, coming from both sides, and
Yeah.
it's like, sorry, for that sort of market up there. And yeah, it wasn't an easy phone call. And then speaking to family and that, yeah, it was it was way harder coming out than it was, like, dealing with all the stress of everything from it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, eventually I got back into the apartment. And yeah, I think it was 2 months into the court case.
Yeah.
Where the judge will sentence you. And I think I was looking at like a year and a half potentially in jail.
Far out.
Yeah. It was, it was.
What's the charge there for having cocaine in your system?
Yeah. I mean, well, not confident, but like if you looked back at the previous cases, and like my sister and myself were looking through previous cases, and most of them got off on like sort of like a suspended sentence.
Yeah.
So we were thinking that likely to happen, but you just never know with like a judge trying to prove a point, or trying to do something different. So spent the time going on Marketplace and selling basically everything in the house, and selling to friends and people, and offloaded quite a bit of stuff. You don't realise how much you pick up over 4 years, but
In the conversation with the rugby club?
The coach came and visited me in there, and was trying to help, but it's a company, it's like a they don't want to be associated with something like that.
Yeah.
It's such bad publicity for them. So I think they did everything they could at the time, and it's just what can they do with something like that?
Yeah.
They obviously tore up the contract straight away, and rightly so, and that was it.
Far out, crazy. Eh? Did they suspend the comp for a bit, or no? Or their team, or no? Was that the separate occasion? Might have been Yatesy's.
Yeah, I think the competition got cancelled
because of COVID anyway. Was it your thing?
Well, I think it probably would have got cancelled anyway because of COVID, but I think they've sort of used my thing as consequences for the comp sort of thing.
Yeah.
So whether who's to say?
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, it wasn't a nice feeling. I felt quite very remorseful to like all the foreigners over there, because like they would have had to have meetings, and that was a real shit feeling, because what I did sort of led to them making it life harder over there for them as well. So, I guess it was so tricky, because my wife was back home with 2 kids as well, and she's like can't talk to me, doesn't know what's going on, talking to like a half English speaking lawyer, and
far out.
Quite.
How was she when you said it was a hard conversation?
I think it was just a mixture of obviously disappointment, a mixture of I miss you, are you okay? Probably a whole lot of things were going through it all, and then what does it look like for us going forward? And I think she said she wanted to divorce me at the time.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. So the day came eventually anyway to getting the court case hearing, and I was like on high alert, and I think the day before I was getting the court hearing, I even got like the tattoo in Japan. I was just it's like, if I'm gonna got a tattoo on my ring, just to like if I was going to get locked away for that amount of time, I want something to sort of look at and keep me heading straight.
Yeah, shit. You're prepared.
Tried to. So the day came, I went in, nervous as hell, went in and could not understand what everyone was saying, like, because it's all Japanese. And then he obviously made the hearing, but like, I didn't know what was good or bad. I'm like looking around, I'm like, is that good?
Am I celebrating?
Can I go now? They're all like, poker face, you don't know what's going on, So, eventually I got the message that it was all good, and speaking to the lawyer, and he was talking to me through it, and the lawyer actually held my passport, and I was looking to fly straight away, like if I got released, sort of thing. And he just keep talking about all sorts of things, and I'm like, mate, give my passport back. I want to go now. I just remember, like, I don't know what you're saying, but give my passport, let me out of here.
Yeah.
And I ran as fast as I could and got on the plane, and but it's quite funny because the person on the plane going with me back to New Zealand was Todd Blackadder.
Oh, really? On the same flight?
He used to coach me in the Crusaders stuff as well. So, he was coming back from Toshiba. I think he was coaching Toshiba at the time.
How did that convo go?
Oh, mate, I said straight away, look, mate, I'm real sorry for, how it's affected you and that. And, he was kind of caring for it, and he's like, understand, sort of thing, to a degree. And we the weirdest situation, but for some reason just me and his tickets somehow, like, I don't know what happened. There was a complication with the airline where it wasn't reading for some reason.
Oh yeah,
it was the weirdest thing. So I don't know, anyway, we ended up...
You thought you were banned.
That was weird, man. We ended up having to run throughout the airport to the plane. I don't know. It was just a weird, weird situation. So I got back to Auckland, and then I had to spend a couple of weeks in MIQ, and then sort of, which was actually quite a good time to be like, okay, what am I doing here, and
process it all,
having that space to figure out what I want to do. I ended up doing website design
in MIQ.
Yeah, we've got.
Now, I love how you've made the most of all your opportunities. You've written a book, you've started websites.
Yeah, I just didn't know, I got to do something.
Yeah.
What is it? So, I did design websites and, social media stuff. Worked in with my sister who was doing it.
Yeah.
So she's able to help me and teach me and learn my craft. And, so eventually got back and just processed it all, and was doing that, and got to a point where my eyes were starting to turn square and to look at the screen. So I was like, ended up doing furniture removal job and getting my truck license.
Was footy completely off the table?
I hadn't been released because international release. So oh well, it's going to take some time for that to happen. So might as well just do something random and get amongst it.
Yeah.
So I just did furniture removal for a few months, and just good to get physical and, move stuff around. And then, did a temporary fencing job, just random after
done
that.
It all, eh?
Just trying things,
And
then randomly, just got a call from a guy that was an agent. I never spoke to him before. He's like, "Hey mate, how's it going? You still keen to play rugby?" And I was like, I mean, if you got a gig, hit me up. And then it got to I don't know, maybe December that year. What's that? Still same year, 2020. He's like, "Hey, this team Clermont in France, they need injury cover for 6 or 7 months." So.
From furniture removal to fucking Clermont, French powerhouse.
Right, it was.
Were you training at this point? No, you don't. Nothing.
Nothing.
All right.
And I was like, Okay.
You want the gig, but you also in the back of your mind thinking, I'm not ready for this.
Right. It was, it was so rude. So like, I didn't have a whole lot of time to prepare because it was like, they said they need you right now.
Yeah.
And so I had to like quit the job on like a Friday, get my stuff together and leave like on a Monday. So like, I think I found out on like a Thursday and I had a night to think about it. So like, mate, I was like, I don't know, full disclaimer, I was probably like 135 kgs.
Yeah.
And like, like it was like no training, no nothing, like just been in jail sort of thing.
Talk about prep.
Oh, like the worst prep, eating pies at lunchtime and all sorts. Like, fuck. So I got over there and it was, and they like, the agent that, hit me up, he must have thought that like, he must have told them that, I've just come back from Japan and like still training and still fighting,
Sold the dream.
So I got there and they're like, oh, you're a little bit bigger, but we'll, help trim you down, and, it just, they gave me a week to basically pass the medicals and they put me on like a, lemon Bronco. It was the rudest Bronco I'd ever done. And all these like
no 4-minute times here.
I remember just closing my eyes and just like, just going through death and just like, fuck, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Put it all out there and if they like it, they like it. And, they wanted to keep me on for that bit and I played, I think, 3 games off the bench and, I enjoyed it, over there. But it was also through like, lockdowns and I couldn't be out at a certain hour, so I didn't really get to enjoy.
Did your family go?
No. That's the other thing. It was a really hard decision because the wife was pregnant with our 3rd child and was due to give birth while I'd be over there.
Oh yeah.
But we were just tossing it out. It was like, a financial positive and it was a potential for a reboot of, my career and stuff like that. So it was just a tricky situation where it's like, take a bit of a hit here and but it wasn't easy.
No, that was tough.
It was the hardest airport ride, like dropping me off, it was like
6 months was it, the gig?
Yeah.
Seeing 6 month type thing.
Yeah.
Hopefully we've got a 3rd child and far out.
It was really hard on everyone involved, really. Like it was, I remember being in like distraught tears, getting dropped off because it's like you're so torn to like, okay, I need to do this, do it for the family, but then also, what are you without your family? So it was a hard decision there, but I was able to pull through it and get that done and. After about 6 months and a new kid on the blocks, I was coming back to New Zealand and back in MIQ again.
Yeah. Mate, so much solo time for you.
Yeah, I know.
This period.
I know. And then I got a call from Dale McLeod to go down to Southland Stags for a season. And, so I signed up to that and I think after MIQ I had 2 weeks to see the family and then I was back down to Southland for that gig and and then eventually the family came down and joined us. But that was like a real awesome time because that's when they had like, the whole country was locked down and you couldn't leave the house.
Yeah.
So I had that family time.
Genuine family time.
Like blocking.
Yeah.
Which was just what I needed, I just needed that family time. So, came out of there and I think from there I just wanted to talk about, my Japan story because, I don't know, like just I think sometimes it's really good to be, I guess, a bit vulnerable, like with rugby players in particular. Like, you have to be quite, I don't know, have a tough exterior and have,
Yes, bravo.
have that bravo thing. And
yeah.
I just felt like, it'd be good to be soft and vulnerable and talk to them. Because, I had quite a few counselling sessions via Zoom in Japan, like after that whole thing went down, and just to process it. And, I just think like I got the opportunity to go around to the NPC teams and just talk about my story, obviously the drugs, but not really about the drugs, although, that's not good for you, but it's more the mental health side of things, about just keep an eye on your thoughts and tools, to sort of manage the way you're thinking and get yourself, avoid putting yourself in a position that's, quite isolating and not like, helpful for you going forward.
Yeah. What would you have done in hindsight in Japan when when you were drinking before that night you go out and it all changes? What would you have done differently?
I think I would like, if I had to go back, I'd probably communicate with the family.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this is going on. And then, I'd probably find something that's going to like actually be stimulating for me. Like, I could have done my kids' book then instead of in jail.
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why did I have to take?
Yeah, rock bottom.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
And just because, I was just stewing and I wasn't catching those thoughts.
Yeah.
And it's more for me about, any thought is any thought, but just understanding where's this coming from.
Yeah.
And just going into a bit more depth of like, oh, I'm stewing, I'm not happy. And then just, acknowledging and being aware of yourself. Was the big learnings I took from that. Like, just being able to handle what's going on for you and not ignoring it, and being more in tune with yourself.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good, and so grateful for you to come on and share your story. I'd heard a lot of guys who had obviously heard you speak around the NPC traps, at how powerful it was and how mind-blowing it was. And shit, if there's ever a story that's going to put you off doing any drugs in your rugby career, shit, this is it. Because, man, it blows my mind that that's happened one night, having a go at some cocaine, and then next minute you've got a tube getting your pants pulled down, the tube up your piece, and 23 nights in jail. Far out.
Yeah.
Incredible story, what you've gone through.
Yes, it's a rough deal. But yeah, I mean, if it lands on anyone listening to this, it's just to be, connected in with yourself and being in tune with it, because, it's not, here's so many stories, there's so many situations of people, going through struggling times and stuff like that. And, if I can try and leave the message of, helping yourself and being courageous within yourself to seek that help. That's massive, like, there's people going through some really hard times, and, just to, find your feet and make yourself, seek help, sort of thing.
Yeah, I love it, because so many people are struggling, like, or will be at some point struggling in their life. It's never all roses, is it? So,
100%.
Man, the amount of time guys come on here and be vulnerable and share genuine life experiences, the amount of feedback I get from it is crazy. So, like, I know a story like this will hit so many people, and it's so cool that you could come on and share it. And we will keep going, because I have got some Instagram questions which have come in for you. We got through most of those, to be fair, because so many of them were about the jail experience, and geez, you have given a full insight into life. I feel like I've just spent a few nights in there, going in there with you, pummeling my Japanese roommates. What a story. But we have got a few different ones as well. This one, ask him about the pranking app. Apparently you pranked the whole Crusaders team one year.
Oh, this is Beto making something more than what it is. Okay.
Are you a bit of a prankster?
No, I wouldn't say that. It's more Matt Bateman, but I just went along with the ride. We we had this some time back now. Gosh, it would have been like 12 or so years ago. Anyway. Yeah. Matt Bateman had a pranking app where you just push like I don't know, the button, and then it says these words and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and
here's the convo.
Yeah, it has like sentences that you can choose and mix and mash. So we just one night we just got like all those funny numbers to ring, and we just I think we pranked Dale McLeod, and he got real fired up, like, you're barking up the wrong tree, mate. It was like trying to charge him for fish and chips, and I think we got Razor as well.
Oh, really?
So we just spent some time just going through random numbers. And
oh, how good's that? Shit, I love a prank. Oh, I'd love to have heard Razor on that prank.
yeah, it was pretty funny. He was trying to play it cool, but yeah.
Next one. Did you ever plan an escape from prison in your mind?
100%.
Every day.
Yeah. I did. That's a great question. Especially those first few days. And I don't know what I'd do. But I was like, I was looking for everything in that room to get out. Everything. Yeah. I was like, looking at like the bolts and like, because you watch so many like escape movies as well. It was like, I was like thrusted into a movie scene. I'm like,
this is a test.
Like, I've got to look for like clues and like, and then, it was, no, there's no way I was going to.
If you had to, what would have been your approach?
I don't even know. Like, so many, it'd be so impossible to do it. You'd have to like fake that you're really sick and get to a hospital and try to find a way from that.
Oh yeah,
it's pretty locked down.
That was your approach.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
The fake spew bug.
There's just no way. Like, they handcuff you everywhere.
Oh, really?
And they tie you up to other inmates or other people when you're getting transferred anywhere.
Shit.
Like, it's very, very locked down.
Yeah, far out. Okay, no chance. Okay, what would you do differently with your career if you could start your life again? Wow.
Start my life again, as in rugby?
Rugby, yeah. Start your career again, I guess.
Very good question. I don't even know how to answer that. I'm pretty happy with what I did in terms of making decisions and things like that. Did have a chance to go to Bay of Plenty at one stage. Maybe I'd, give that a shot and see how that went.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've walked through all the doors that have opened up for me.
Yeah.
And, try to open doors that weren't going to open. And I think, if someone wanted to give me a gig, then that's what I'd change for my career.
More gigs.
Yeah, more gigs. That's the one.
Oh, good stuff. Okay, last question. Best piece of advice you have for a Woodlad listener?
Oh,
jeez.
Best piece of advice. Just focus on the ability to love yourself and put time and energy into yourself. And you'll set yourself up best to give out love and happy vibes to people around you, which will spread around. So, but put the time and care into yourself so you can give to others.
Best ever. How good is that? That is so good. Such good advice to finish what's been, man, mind-blowing podcast. I knew you had a crazy story, but that is really blowing my mind at what you've had to go through in your career. Crazy, really. Like,
she's a curveball.
Yeah, is it what? And how good for you to get through all of that and be in the space that you're in now where you can talk about it and help other people in those situations and be vulnerable, like you said, and help anyone else who's not just struggling because they're in Japanese jail, but because they're struggling with their headspace and get onto it early. I think was a pretty clear message from you around you don't have to be in jail to help yourself try and get on top of these problems before they become big problems, and they do snowball. So mate, powerful episode. So glad that I could get you on and go through it. Appreciate it.
Yeah, mate. Thanks for having me on, eh? Good, yeah.
You're a true lad.